Hey guys, Josh here. First off, I'd like to apologize for delaying this for so long. I've been meaning to do it for quite some while. Unfortunately, two things I recently acquired have held up a lot of my time. One of them being Dota 2, and the other being Civilization 5 Gods and Kings. These two things have absorbed almost all of my free time, and unfortunately, my channel has been somewhat lacking because of that. I'm not sure whether I should actually maybe record some of the footage from either of these two games in hopes of getting some more content out, but that's up to you guys. I'm not really sure. Anyway, as you know, the Beta Weekend 2 was quite some time ago, and there's a Beta Weekend 3 coming out later on this month. I must say, the difference between Beta Weekend 1 and 2 was very great. There were some huge performance increases, first of all. They added multi-core support, which improved my frame rate dramatically. I'm currently running an i7 processor, so being able to use all my cores was a huge improvement, whereas previously it was only using a single core. Also, because of their server improvements, I had a lot less latency. I'm currently playing from South Africa, so ping is often quite an issue, especially since all the servers are overseas. And I saw dramatic improvements, and I must say, I really enjoyed it. Other than that, there were some changes introduced as well. There was the new skill system, first of all, and I actually have a picture of a comparison. As you can see, the original skill system, you could basically pick and choose whatever you wanted. While this was nice in the ways that you could pick something that you wanted and save up your points for, I can kind of see why ArenaNet decided to change this. First of all, it's kind of overwhelming for a new player to see, a ton of skills, as can be seen on the left. And the choices are... there's a lot of them. I mean, flippin' hell, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times 3, so 22 skills just out of the first utility slots. Then there's your 3 to 4 healing skills, and then your elite skills as well. As you can see, there's a ton of them. And being able to pick and just straight out not knowing what they do, you could save your points for a 7-point skill, and it might not be worth it in the end. So yeah, I much prefer I didn't like the new system at first, but I've grown attached to it after experiencing it. You're forced to basically put 5 points in the first tier, which unlocks the next tier, and then putting 5 points in the second tier unlocks tier 3. A few of the elite skills are also branched out like this, but not as much as the utility skills are. What this does do is it takes away the shock factor of a new player that has no idea and just sees this wall of skills to choose from. Also, what's quite nice about it is because you're forced to put points in, you might try out skills that you would have otherwise looked over. For example, I wasn't very much using the arcane skills. One of the first Elementalist abilities you can pick is Arcane Blast, which is a short cooldown nuke, which is on like a 10 to 15 second cooldown. And it does quite a lot of damage. And I normally would have just gone for the, I think they're called Sigils. I can't remember them offhand. I was running passive Sigils, and those were the things I would do. I like the passive bonuses, and yeah, I would have never tried them. However, this way, since you're forced to put them in, you decide, okay, I'll try it out. And for the most part, it works. I mean, I tried out, I got to find out some new skills that I would have otherwise looked over, and it was a lot of fun. I must say, the only downside to it is if you were specifically wanting a certain skill. For example, originally in my engineer, one of the first things I saved up for was the flamethrower. On the second beta weekend, I was playing with my friend, and he was playing an engineer this time around because that's the class that interested him. After watching some of my gameplay, he really wanted to play an engineer. However, the flamethrower was stuck on, I believe it was the third tier of the utility skills. but I could be wrong and it could have been on the second tier. I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, the flamethrower stuck there, and he really wanted the flamethrower, and unfortunately he had to go through tier 1 and possibly tier 2 as well, just to get the flamethrower. So that's the only downside to it. However, he did get to try out the turrets, which he wasn't. He was overlooking the turrets originally. He got to try out the turrets, he liked them. He also got to try out some of the other kits. He quite fell in love with the grenade kit, which I also did in the original beta weekend. But yeah, otherwise it's great. The way it's tiered is basically, in the previous system, the things were grouped together. Like, for example, you'd have all the sigils together, you'd have all the auras together, you'd have all the arcane spells together, you'd have all the summoning spells together, and so forth. What they did now with this is they split them out over the thing. This is kind of a disadvantage if, for example, you wanted to play, like, say, a pet necromancer, and just have all your things in the pet and minion spells. Now, you'll only get 1 or 2 pet spells from the first tier, and then the rest in the second and third tier. So you can't just dash and get all of the pet skills and play straight out just pets. This has no effect on PvP, because structured PvP that is, because you have everything unlocked. So it's purely just for a leveling perspective, and it does help introduce a lot of new concepts, which I can agree with. It was pretty good. The other thing that was changed was the trait system, which I wasn't too worried about. Basically what they did was they took the traits that were originally there was 12 traits for a major trait slot for each line. So say for instance you were an Elementalist and you were going down the fire line, there were 12 fire line traits you could pick. And you could, whether it was a first major slot, you could pick all 12. If it was the second one, you could pick all 12, and if it was the third one, you could pick all 12. What this led to was people were putting points in every single row just to get the first major slot, and then cherry picking the best major trait. Now what this has done is the best major traits, or the ones that have the biggest effect, are limited to only being able to pick out of a third major trait in the tree. I'm not really sure how to illustrate this. I don't have any pictures I could show of how to explain this, but basically the way it works is the first the first major trait you get at putting 10 points in, you can only pick the major trait 1 to 6. For slot 2 you can pick 1 to 10, and for the third one you can pick 1 to 12. So it basically limited those things a bit. It's a balance. They say they did it for balance, which I can agree with. It's, if they're having things that are problematic together, they can throw them in this third slot only, so they can't be combined. But yeah, other than that, they also changed the chat system, which is good. There's now actually a speech bubble say, which was helpful during coordinating things. A lot of people you'd see people spamming help in the speech bubbles, and then you could actually see that they were down, in the crowds, if there was a big event going on. But also, if you went in local chat and you were like looking for an event, it wouldn't broadcast over the entire area, because it was quite annoying if, like, for instance, you were like gathering people to fight the Shadow Behemoth and you broadcast the message, and then the people in the starting zone get this, oh, the Shadow Behemoth's there, and they're like, oh, we want to do that, but they're level 2 and the Shadow Behemoth's like level 15. So yeah, they fixed up the local zones and the local chat, and it's a very good improvement. I'm glad they quickly changed it. They also added a new minimap, which can be seen in the bottom right. It's a resizable rectangle now. Yeah, no complaints with this. I like being able to change my minimap size, zooming it in as usual, zooming out to max almost, and yeah, the minimap's great. The Elementalist was what I played mostly, and I must say I'm thinking it's my new favourite class at the moment. it was just so much fun. I had such a ball. With my Elementalist, I completed all 3 starting zones to 100%, and it was just amazing. I also completed the story for the human and with my Elementalist, and honestly, it's probably going to be my main class in when the game's released, unless the changes to engineer, which they say that they're doing, are really great, because apparently they're rebalancing the class. Anyway, for Elementalist, the switching of attunements, I found I didn't need to switch attunements too often. I did it mostly just for fun, and I found myself mostly sticking to lightning attunement because of I was running Dagger most of the time, because I got 2 green daggers from a Karma Rod, and they were really powerful. And so I was running Dagger, and in lightning that was a lot of fun, because you got the ride lightning, which you turn into like a ball of lightning and just fling yourself forward. And yeah, it was great. I mean, of course I did do things like I'd ride the lightning in, like cast my lightning spells, switch to fire attunement to create a ring of fire, fire breath. I had a lot of fun playing dual daggers, and I must say I preferred over the alternatives. Like I was going staff for a long time, which is all just long range and stuff, but it's not as fast paced as dual daggers. Dual daggers, you feel like you're constantly pushing buttons, you're constantly moving around. Heck, I even picked up a trait at one point where you deal extra damage every time you're moving. So yeah, I was like 5% extra damage while you're moving. So as long as you keep moving, you're constantly dealing 5% more damage. And I like that. I liked being mobile as a mage, which is something that's unheard of in other MMOs. In World of Warcraft, you stand on spot and cast a spell and occasionally move out of the fire or get into like the buff zone or something. But yeah, and also it was close range as a mage, and that's unheard of. Mages are supposed to stick at the back, as far as possible. And yeah, it was a lot of fun, eh? The scepter was pretty cool as well. I liked the phoenix in the fire, where you shoot out the phoenix and it deals damage and then it comes back to you and it gives you buff. It buffs you with vigor and I think haste maybe, or something like that. Heals you as well, I believe. And yeah, focus offhand was okay, but yeah, I really enjoyed Dagger. I mean, even Dagger with water is a boss killer basically, because the auto attack, the one skill, it stacks vulnerability twice per cast, because it shoots out a boomerang that goes along the ground, hits multiple targets, and then returns to you. And every time the boomerang goes through the unit, it stacks a thing of vulnerability. And being able to stack vulnerability on bosses can take down them so quickly. It's so helpful. So I really had a lot of fun with that. When I was playing with my friend, he really enjoyed me playing in fire attunement. He was often telling me to stick to fire, because I'd create rings of fire and lines of fire and all that. And every time he shot through them, he'd get the combo field, and his attacks would cause burning. So it was a lot of fun comboing together with my friend. And if you can get friends to play multiplayer with you, like, it's so much fun. And it doesn't matter if you're a higher level than them or they're a higher level than you, as you can go down into the zones with them and play. It was so much fun, because you get down leveled to the zones, which is what I did with my Elementalist. We completed the Charr zone 100% because he didn't know where to go, so he didn't know about the warp gates and all that, because he was fresh into the game. This is his first beta weekend. So I said, okay, I'll make my Elementalist and I'll come meet you there in the Charr zone. So I met him there, we completed the Charr zone completely. And then I took him with me to the human zone. We got down leveled, we did the quests there, they were actually a challenge. I believe we went down on the one bull fight, where you fight, not a bull, the bull. You fight the one bull and it goes rampaging. And I think I suicided myself into the bees that the bull knocks over, casting AoE spells, and I just got suicided. I think I suicided there, but I might be thinking of a different character. But no, I mean, the zones were a challenge, even though I was level 15 to 17. I mean, at the end I was level 20, I believe. And those zones were a challenge, even though I was a higher level. and it's because you get down leveled, and I was still getting good experience, and heck, I was even finding items appropriate to me. I believe I found like some pieces of like armor and stuff like that, and I found weapons that I would use if I didn't have 2 green daggers that were much higher level. So yeah, the Elementalist gets all my thumbs up. It's probably the funnest class. I can see why so many people are playing Elementalist. I believe it's the most popular class at the moment, and it's probably just because you don't worry about weapon swapping, because that's something I found I always forgot when I was playing the other classes. I would always forget to swap weapons. With the Elementalist, you don't swap weapons, you're swapping attunements, and even though it's more, you kind of remember it more, I guess. I found myself never swapping weapons, which was also something I liked with the engineers. You didn't have to swap weapons, you just equipped the weapon kits. But, yeah. I also tried out the Ranger for a bit. That's actually the footage that's playing now. Unfortunately, the sound didn't record for some reason. I have no idea why it didn't record. Probably a problem with the settings or something, but I have no idea. It didn't record any of the sound for the Ranger. So I'm just using the footage here as background footage. But overall I didn't have too much fun with the Ranger, which is actually really disappointing. I was really looking forward to the Ranger. I don't know if it was because of the Norn starting zone, because the Norn starting zone is by far the worst starting zone. It needs some changes or work. It's very boring. The human starting zone is probably the best from what I found, and it seems to show in the stats. I mean, when I went to the human starting zone, almost everybody, Charr and Norn and humans, were there. They would move there and they'd rather do questing there. The Charr zone is probably my second favorite. I really like the unique skills there. I mean, not the unique skills, the unique events there. It's a lot of fun. But the human starting zone seems to be the best at the moment. I don't know, it seems very well put together. Especially they've added some new dynamic events that go on, and the human starting zone seems seamless. You go there and you finish the starting zone. There's no downtime. Whereas the Charr starting zone, I find you get to a point and you kind of have to go level up in another area, sort of, before you can continue. There's a gap of like leveling, where the next Renown Heart area is a bit too high level for you. So yeah, the Norn starting zone, I don't know what's wrong with it. And it's got so much lore and fluff, like you're helping the spirits, the prophets of the spirits. Like you'd go like help like the bear prophets or whatever they're called, the bear priests or whatever. And then you go help the rabbit priests and all the wolf ones, and you do specific things related to that animal that they're worshipping, and spirits of the wild, and it could be so much better. I don't know what's with it, but I think even I was listening to Jesse Cox play, and one of his live streams, and he hated the game, or he hated the PvE. He loved the PvP. He commented and he said he doesn't know what's up with it, he's not enjoying it. And then he played in the second beta weekend, and he played as a human in the human starting zone, and he loved it. His opinion completely changed. And I think that's because of the Norn area. The Norn area, I don't know, it's not fun. It doesn't feel engaging, and I'm not sure why. The Ranger also gave me some problems. The pets seem very bugged at the moment. They will occasionally just not attack anything, and you have to swap them out because they just become unresponsive. They just don't attack enemies. They don't move. There's a lot of problems with them. They all are very squishy, and you basically are forced to run a bear, because if you don't run a bear, then your pet just dies in like one hit, because the pets don't dodge and the pets don't get out of AoEs and stuff like that. They just stand there and they die. And in Guild Wars 2, you can't just stand there. You have to dodge, you have to move, you have to get out of the area of effects. If you stand still, you're dead in Guild Wars 2. And pets, they stand still and they die. I don't know what they need to do. Then maybe they need to put some AI into the pets, that they move out of area of effects, or they occasionally dodge. I don't know, or just generally increase their toughness or something. It's just, they're very squishy. I did a bit of the weapons with the ranger were quite good. I went with longbow, shortbow, and greatsword. Those were the three weapons I tried out mostly. They were great fun. The greatsword was actually a lot of fun, surprisingly. You'd think ranger, you'd want to be ranged, but the greatsword is just a really fun melee build, and you get like a charge, and then like you leap at the target, like you run and then you like leap and you get like these wings, kind of. They're not physical wings; they're like just like an animation of wings, and you charge at the target, and it's really cool. Shortbow seemed more AoE centric, multi hitting and stuff like that. Also condition damage, whereas the longbow is just pure damage, and that's reflected through the auto attack, which deals more damage the longer range you are. Unfortunately, I came across a bug with the longbow that if you're at a certain range, beyond a certain range, you'll randomly stop auto attacking. You're not at the range where you're out of range, because then it would just say out of range. You're still within the range, because the longbow's got a ridiculous range of I think 1,200, and with the major what's it called? A major trait. That's it. With a major trait, you can increase it to 1,500 range. So the longbow and the main skill does more damage the further you are away from the target, and does a lot less damage the closer you are. So the idea is to fight at range, long range, because it's a longbow. But for some reason, the bow stops auto attacking randomly at when you're about, I'd estimate at 1,000 range, it would just stop auto attacking. Anyway, I left a bug report. Hopefully they fix that, because I really wanted to use the longbow. I really like this idea of attacking targets from the absolute maximum range and damaging them, but it wasn't working out. So yeah, I guess maybe it's good that the audio messed up with the ranger footage, because I don't think it would have been very popular. I didn't really enjoy it the best. The Elementalist just completely blinded it. The human, as I was saying, let's go into the humans. The humans as a whole, it's a really interesting race. The starting zone is good. I really like the starting zone. The whole attack for the centaurs, you fighting the centaurs, trying to claim back land from them, stop their raids, saving prisoners, and then just general like helping people and helping humans like with their like lives, or like their farms, or like even the brewery. The zone's a lot of fun, and the human story is also quite fun. I've actually tried all of the stories, at least a bit, and I must say probably Peasant is my favourite so far. The noble one, you get this annoying friend, well, kind of annoying friend. He basically he's constantly like taking advantage of you. And in the street rat one, there's this really, 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 really annoying best friend of yours that he's like an idiot. He goes into the bad crowd basically, and you have to save him, and then he does it again, and he's like this constant liability to you. Like, you wonder, like, why would you be friends with this person? He's constantly getting himself into trouble, and through his actions getting you into trouble, and I hated the character, and I didn't want to continue that story at all. The Norn, going on to the Norn, their starting zone needs some work. Their stories are pretty cool. I've tried out 2 of them. They actually changed the choices. Previously it was, I think, what is your strength or something like that, and now it's like something like, what aspect are you or something like that. They've changed one of the questions in the questionnaire when you create your character, and yeah. The story's quite fun. There's a quest where you get turned into a minotaur. There's you get to fight in like a duel in one of the other quests. Yeah, it's pretty good. The Charr's stunning zone is cool. Oh yeah. Oh, sorry. Going back to the Norn. I don't know, I didn't really enjoy too much because with the human zone and the Charr zone, you're fighting a bunch of different enemies. Like, okay, the main threat is the centaurs and the humans, and the Charr is the ghosts. But in the human zone, then you're also fighting bandits, you're also fighting wild animals, stuff like that. With the Norn, you're basically fighting these ice dragon worshippers. I forget what they're called, Sons of Hoda or something like that. And that's basically almost all you fight. And you fight them, and you fight their minions, and you're basically just constantly fighting this ice dragon cult. And then occasionally you'll fight like wild animals or something like that. But I don't know, I didn't really find the Sons of Hoda that grasping of my attention. I feel it could have been better. Moving on to the Charr zone, it's a lot of fun. I like the look of the zone. The zone is very industrial wasteland type of look. And the quests are a lot of fun. They range from prodding cattle with like electroshock to protecting a barbecue to hunting down Flame Legion zealots to defending a attack sub from underwater invaders. It's probably as much as I like the human zone, the Charr zone has got so much fun, and it really makes me wonder like what they're going to do for the Sylvari and the Asura zones. I really want to see those zones. Charr's stories, I've literally only seen one, because I went with Iron Legion in mine, and I also went with the father missing, or something like that. Sorry, your father was an honored warrior or something like that. And my friend actually chose the exact same choices. And we were going through his story while we were there, so I was seeing it for a second time. So I've still only seen the one Charr story. But from what I've seen, the Charr story is good. And I like the way it's going. I like the fact that you join a legion and you do work for that legion. And yeah. So yeah, that's basically my overview of the Beta Weekend 2. It was a lot of fun. I must say, I kind of just want the game to come out now, because I feel like I don't want to try it too much, because I don't want to spoil the release for me. And unfortunately, I've been wanting to, just be like, okay, I'll just do world versus world, because that's, you can do that infinitely, basically. But the server I'm on is just completely dominated every single match. We've won every single one of them, and I think it was for the first night, we owned everything 100% within the first 14 minutes or something like that. We just completely dominated the whole weekend. And as much as I want to play world versus world, I couldn't. I kind of want the game to come out. I actually stopped playing a bit earlier than I did previously. Whereas previously I played the whole weekend, even though I didn't get as much recording, but I played the whole weekend. And I can't, literally, I stayed up, no sleep on Friday night, no sleep on Saturday night. I found this weekend, besides the fact that my friend had to go to sleep, so I went to sleep when he went to sleep, because I didn't want to continue without him, except when he disconnected. But his internet shut down on the human starting zone, which you might have noticed. He vanished during about a bit of a weigh-in. He lagged out and he never came back. His internet completely died. But that's besides the point. Going back, I feel like I've seen all I need to see, which is why I'm really hoping in the next Beta Weekend they release either the Sylvari or the Asura or something, or maybe my world, if my server Desolation doesn't just completely dominate, I'm really hoping for something, because honestly I really don't want to. I don't want it to be a Beta Weekend and me not to do anything. I don't want to go beyond the starting zones, and I've completed all 3 starting zones 100% at least twice now. Once throughout on my Elementalist, and once throughout on individual characters. And yeah, I'm not really sure. I hope they release Sylvari and Asura so I can do something. The next beta weekend is on July 20th to the 22nd. So if you pre-purchase, you can get immediate access, and if you haven't yet, I highly suggest you do, because it'll really get you, if you, especially for when I was on my first, it installed so much hype into me that I really can't wait for the release. It's gonna be amazing. What I did think of maybe doing for the next beta weekend is I could someone suggested asked if I could play a warrior. I don't mind playing a warrior. I'll probably do the Norn starting zone as he also suggested, because I haven't got shown footage. Well, there's footage in this video obviously, but yeah, no sound, so I'm not uploading it besides for this purpose. But yeah, so I'll be playing a Norn warrior. Not sure on the story choices. If you want to make suggestions, feel free to, but I think I had one guy post the suggestions in the last video, so I'm not holding my breath. I know I've gotten a few subscribers and the views have gone up, but people don't seem to be commenting a lot, which I don't blame them. I guess there's not much to talk about, but especially since I'm not commentating. Or maybe I should add commentary in my videos. I'm not sure. I don't feel my voice has got a very good. I think people might dislike my accent. I don't feel like I don't think I can add to the video with my commentary. I don't know. That's just my personal opinion. I probably have too much low self-esteem, but I don't feel my voice is up to scratch. But yeah, what I could try to do maybe is record some PvP, some structured PvP. I wanted to, but I was worried about the latency from recording while playing. Not latency, just lag, basically. Yeah, whatever. Performance issues. I actually did quite a bit of PvP over this last beta weekend, which I probably should talk about. I was playing as the Necromancer, and on this one skill build website, some guy posted up a skill build for like a damage over time, like afflictions, condition damage build, and I basically almost followed it word for word. It was made in beta weekend 1, this build, so I had to change some things for beta weekend 2 because they changed the way things work, and I must say I had a lot of fun. The Necromancer class seems maybe a bit unbalanced because I played about 15 matches and I won every single one of them, and in every single one of them I was the main victory point, whatever the MVP I was. I had the top score, the top everything, and it's just insane. If you build your Necromancer right, you can't get killed. You have so much lifesteal, you have so much durability through Spirit Shield, through your Necro Shroud, through Lich Form. It's insane. You become this almost unstoppable thing. And because of condition damage, enemies can't run away. I had rogues blinking away, and they just die almost like a few seconds later because of all the condition damage stacking. It's just crazy. It was so much fun. Oh yeah, I guess I should probably also announce, just for anyone who doesn't know, they announced the release date. The game is going to be out on August 28th. However, if you're like me and you've pre-purchased, you can get the head start access and be playing on August 25th. That's a Saturday versus a Tuesday. I don't know about you, but I'd rather start playing on a Saturday than a Tuesday. So, if you haven't pre-purchased now and you're on the fence, I'd say go for it because it's worth it. If you pre-purchase now, you can play in the next beta weekend, which is on July 20th, and you'll get the head start on the 25th, which apparently they're going to be, we're going to get head start on midnight of midnight on the 24th, I guess. So the minute it clocks over to the 25th, probably American time, I'm guessing. but we'll get to play immediately. They hope, anyway, unless there's some problems. But yeah, I can't wait for the full game to be released. I'm not sure whether I should maybe continue with something after the release. Like maybe I've been thinking of maybe doing like a series where I complete every zone 100% and just so I can show off the zone maybe. Or I could just record PvP, record world PvP. I could record a personal storyline, like a full one, not just up to the limit. Like, I mean, the personal stories are great from what I've seen. I don't think anyone, according to the audience retention data that I've viewed, I don't think anyone's watched the full one, but that ending was amazing for that human personal story. That's all I can think of to talk about, really. The game's going to be out on end of August. Pre-order now. I mean, pre-purchase, sorry. Pre-ordering doesn't get you the beta access. And I believe pre-ordering only gets you 1 day head start, whereas pre-purchasing gets you 3 days. So, get to play earlier, get access to the betas, it seems the way to go. Closing remarks, I guess. If you have any suggestions, feel free to. If you'd like me to maybe post up videos of other games during the drought, because the next beta weekend's only on July 20th, I can do that. I've got quite a lot of games. I could play Civilization, Dota 2, Super Meat Boy, Binding of Isaac, Dungeons of Dreadmore, Sins of a Solar Empire Rebellion. Those are the games I'm currently playing at the moment, though at the moment it's mostly just Civ 5 and Dota 2. Those games just absorb all my time, especially Civ 5. I think I've already got something like over 80 hours played, and I've only bought and I got it when it came out. So, and it only came out on the Friday, not the Wednesday, for me, because we get European releases. But yeah, final thoughts. I had a blast with Beta Weekend 2. It was so much fun playing with my friend. He really enjoyed the game. I actually won a beta key, and I gave it to him, so he had access. And he played the weekend, and on Monday morning, when his internet returned, he immediately pre-purchased the game. He was absolutely, the beta just completely won him over, and it was so much fun having a friend. We actually chatted over Skype while we were playing. I know it didn't show up in the recording. I managed to split the audio channels, so all that conversation didn't get recorded, which was good because we were talking about random crap. We were talking about our weekly RPing with my other friends, and yeah, so yeah, it was a lot of fun. And I must say, Guild Wars 2 is going to be big. It's already big, and I can't wait for it to be released because, yeah, it's going to be awesome. Yeah, I'm babbling now. I can't think of anything else to say. So yeah, if you have any comments, suggestions, please leave them below. I'll take almost all of them into consideration because, I'd like this channel to grow into something. I don't want it to just be Guild Wars 2. I'd like to branch out into maybe Let's Plays, if people don't mind my voice too much. Otherwise I can just do silent gameplay, though I don't know, to me personally I think silent gameplay is a bit boring. But what do I know? Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time.